Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about 3 easy ways to make your own miniature gel plates. Now, in one of my most recent videos, we made this plate together, which it has paint on it, so it's dirty, but it is a textured plate. A textured gelatin plate. It has texture on one side and a flat jelly surface on the other side. Now, this is a sort of full-size 8x10 plate, but how can we make the smaller varieties? Now, these are sold in stores. They're sold in, shapes like circles and squares and diamonds and chevrons and things like that. But what if you don't like the shapes that they have available, or you want something in a bigger size? What are some ways that you can get your own miniature gel plates made? Okay, the first thing you're going to need to know how to do is make this DIY gel plate. Now I'm going to put a card up of the video that I made recently where I show you exactly how to do this. Now obviously you can do it without the texture. It doesn't need the texture. The texture is just an additional step at the end. Leave the texture off and you end up with just a flat plate like what is on this side. Okay, and that's what you're going to need for this. Now, I'm going to quickly recap what you need to make that. So if you want to go ahead and watch that video, go ahead and do so. But I will give you a short recap here. You're going to need a 1 cup of glycerin, which you put into some sort of measuring cup or container. You're going to need half a cup of unflavored gelatin powder, and you just mix that together, mix, and then to that you add 1 cup of boiling water, and then you microwave that for a total of 90 seconds in 30-second increments. You make sure you stir it up really well. Now what you're going to get is a hot liquid concoction, and when you have that, you're going to want to put it into another container. So this is where we can come up with our 3 ways to make our miniature plates. You can put it in a large container like this, which is what I have done. We have a flat plate here, or you can put it into the smaller containers like we have here. Now these are for making coasters, I believe. I think they're for resin. Epoxy resin, so you just pour your epoxy in here and it comes out a hard shape. Well, you can do the same thing with your gelatin mixture. You just pour them into these containers. I don't have my hands on the circle one, but there's also one that's a circle, obviously. Pour your gelatin mixture in these containers, let it set up for about 3 hours or so. It doesn't even have to set up for that long, but you have to let it set up, and when you take it out, you'll have yourself a miniature little gelatin plate. Now these have texture on them because I added texture to these, but the other side is flat. Now this particular epoxy set comes in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6. I believe there is one more that is not shown here. And so you can have all of these standard shapes very easily, right? This is they're super easy to do. These epoxy containers were less than $10, I believe. So for less than $10 in these supplies, the glycerin and gelatin will add a little more, obviously, but you can still, in a very affordable way, get yourself some miniature gelatin plates in lots of standard shapes and sizes. So the question then becomes, what if you don't want the standard shapes and sizes? Because the epoxy resin silicone containers will generally come in standard shapes and sizes. So if you don't want that, that's where this big plate that we have here will come into play. Now this is, I don't know, 11 by 13 maybe, and I just did the mixture that I told you about earlier. I put that in here, I let it set up, and this is what we have. Now this is a rather large container, so the resulting plate is not very thick, and that's fine for me. Like, I didn't want it to be that thick. If you put it in a smaller container, you'll get something thicker. But for this technique, all you're gonna need is some metal cookie cutters. Now I have one here in the shape of a little bird. And this is super easy, you guys. You just do it, cut it out like you would a cookie. And let me find an angle that you guys can see. You just cut it out like you would in a cookie dough. It's super easy, and because this is a thinner plate, it's even easier. What you want to do is find the sharp side, put it down, and then take the palm of your hand and just apply even pressure on it. And you'll feel it when it goes all the way through. It won't go all the way through immediately. You just gotta push it down, and eventually it'll get to the bottom, and you'll feel it when it does. So what you'll end up with is a cute little miniature bird, which is a miniature gelatin plate. So, you know, I have that one. Let's see, I have one that looks like this, which is a little flower shape, I believe. Put it in, press it down, pull it out. Super easy. This one that is another flower shape. Now I got these off of Amazon, these cookie cutters. They were pretty affordable, and they come in, man, probably hundreds of different varieties and shapes. I also have, here's a butterfly, which is one of my favorites. I love butterflies. Press it down, super easy. Now, I also have some from Hobby Lobby, which is another butterfly that I will go ahead and take out. Now, these Hobby Lobby ones are for the stated price is $3.99, but the Sunny Side Up Bakery brand goes on a 40% off sale pretty regularly, like every other week or so. And so that's about $2.50, I think, close to that. I didn't math it, I'm just estimating. It's about $2.50 for 3 cookie cutters. This one is somewhere. Is this it? This might be it right here. I don't know. But there's 3 of them. Let me go ahead and get this loosed. So, I mean, 3 for $2.50 is really quite affordable. I mean, and they're cookie cutters. It's not like they have 0 use after you've used them for gel plates. I mean, you can use them to make cookies if that's your thing, you know. Otherwise, it's still a pretty affordable way to get a bunch of miniature gel plates in your collection. It's another different kind of butterfly. Cute. And I also have some crosses. I mean, how great are these for our Bible journalers? You know, or anyone who likes to do Christian-based art journaling. I mean, there were 3 of these that came in the package. This is the one I like the best, and I think it'll get some good use. I'll get some good use out of it. Press down, and there you have it. It's so easy. So easy. And just like that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 6 miniature plates, and I have the ability to make more. I think this is just a bigger flower shape. I have the ability to make so much more, so many more, just depending on, you know, how many cookie cutter sets you have. It's super easy to do. Now, what we have here is leftover gelatin though, so I'm gonna snip this off. It's very easy to cut, and that is how we're going to make our last set of miniature plates. I left some gelatin here because I'm going to use my scissors to cut out the last 2 examples. So okay, so this is what I have. It is just a rudimentary stencil that I cut out with my Silhouette Cameo. I mean, I could have cut this by hand. I could have used, you know, actual stencils that I have, but these are straightforward shapes that I pulled off the internet and cut on my Cameo, and you can cut them by hand if you'd like, but you just need something that you can trace onto the plate to guide your cutting. Now, this is a Sharpie style. It's not actually Sharpie, but it is an alcohol permanent marker, and it writes well on the plate. Water-based markers like, you know, Crayola or anything like that will not write very well on this surface. Just play with it and see what will work. And once we're done, it is pretty easy to remove the black marker. So once you've traced everything, just pull up your stencil and get yourself a nice pair of scissors. I think I'm going to use these. We are memory keeper scissors, right? And then just go ahead and cut. I mean, this is very easy to cut. Very, very easy. Because I made this particular batch pretty thin, that makes it even easier to cut. But generally speaking, these DIY plates, at least the recipe that I use, ends up being something that is super easy to cut with scissors if you are so inclined. And I've tried doing circular shapes with this, and it's possible, but it's not the neatest thing in the world. It's not the cleanest cut in the world. It really is best for shapes that have straight lines. But you know, if you want to try curlicues, circles, curls, and ovals, you know, by all means, go ahead and do that. I just have not had a lot of luck getting clean cuts with circular shapes. So there's that sort of arrow shape. I'm going to go ahead and cut out this star shape. I've also cut these plates with knives, box cutters, X-Actos. The thickness of the plate will determine how useful those methods are. Cut a little too far there. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, the thicker the plate is, the harder it is to cut, period. But with something like an X-Acto, it is a lot more difficult when the plate is thicker, just because that blade isn't very large. And there's that. So I have these scraps, and in my earlier video that I linked before, I actually also talked about how to melt down your scraps and use them to make another plate. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and do that as well. So to get the marker off, all you have to do is spray it with some isopropyl and, you know, gently wipe it. It should come right off. Okay, now we have all of our little gel plates here, and how do you use them? Well, the easiest way I found is to mount them to something. Now this is just stuck on an acrylic block, and you can take it, you put paint here and use it to stamp. And acrylic blocks are nice because you can see through them, they're clear, so you can see where you're stamping. Another way that you could mount these, that, you know, it's not clear, it's not an acrylic block, but it is, you know, a DIY solution. If you just want to mount them on something, have them available to use on a mount, is to get yourself some photo paper. Now, anybody who does gel printing knows that photo paper and gelatin plates do not mix, and that is because they will like fuse together. I don't know what about the chemical properties of the gelatin and the photo paper, I have no idea, but they will just insta stick to one another, and to get them off, you would destroy the plate. So one thing to note about this method is that if you're someone who likes to use both sides of your plate for whatever reason, this method is not going to work, because you are going to lose one side and just have the other side available to use. And for me, that's fine, that doesn't bother me. But if you want both sides, then this is not the way to go. Just full disclosure. So what you want to do is get yourself some regular old glossy photo paper. It actually, I don't know that it has to be glossy, but oh wait, here's one. I found that glossy works really well for this technique. So this is just 4x6 photo paper, and all you want to do is pick one that you want to use. So I will go ahead and go with the little birdie, and you just stick it to the photo paper, the glossy side of the photo paper. You don't want the back side, you want the glossy side. Just stick it down. You don't need adhesive, you don't need anything else, because this will fuse almost instantly. That's stuck. It's on there. That's not coming off. If I were to try to pull this off, I would destroy this little plate. So this is on there. So once you have it on, all you want to do is just cut it out. And the reason I like to cut this down to a shape and not just have it be a square or a rectangle is because I don't want extra photo paper hanging out around my shape. I do like to use gel plates on other gel plates sometimes, and you don't want the photo paper to have the ability to stick to plates that you don't want it to stick to. So that's why I like to trim this down to size so we don't have any extras. So this is what we have. We have our shape. It is fused down to this piece of photo paper. And all you have to do now is find something sturdy or rigid to adhere it to. Now this is a piece of chipboard. I'm just going to go ahead and glue this down. I mean, the back side of photo paper doesn't have the same coating as the front side, so it should glue down without a problem. Unless you have double-sided paper, in which case, you know, all bets are off. But I don't, so I'm just going to put some glue, some white glue down on this side. I'm going to stick it to this chipboard. I want to leave enough space around the plate so that I have room to, you know, pick it up, put it down, handle it. You know, you can always trim it down to whatever size you like, whatever's most comfortable for your particular use. I don't like those scissors. I think I'm going to take a little bit off of the top and bottom. And there we have it, a makeshift mount for our miniature gel plates. And that is pretty much permanent. Like that's not coming off of there without destroying all of it, the chipboard, the plate, all of it. So let's just take a quick little print and see how it works out. I have some Dilutions paint here and some Dina Wakley and beautiful colors, fuchsia and tangerine. This is probably too much paint for this little plate, but and go ahead and press it down. Probably do it one more time. We have enough to try to get one more print where his little beak is showing up well. There we go. That's a lot better. Super cute. Very easy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really helps out my channel. Have a creative day, you guys. Bye-bye.